بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ثم أما بعد. Inshallah, we will continue with the Ramadan daily reminder, and today this will be day number 10, inshallah. And today we will go over a section from Surah An-Nur, a very important section. We are dealing with the subject of Iman. I will go over one very important ayah regarding light within and light without. Yesterday we talked about Iman from the intellectual dimension perspective, and we used the ayat from Surah Al Imran to describe how one can attain Iman through logical arguments by looking at the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the starry heavens and so on and so forth. And this is the extrovert personality of a mu'min, if you will. Whereas in the section we are studying today, it is more about the introvert personality of a mu'min, where Iman is manifested in a spiritual devotion to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through continuous worship and praise and remembrance of Allah, praying and paying zakat. So the ayat begin with, or the ayah is, بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم الله نور السماوات والأرض. Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. مثل نوره كمشكاة فيها مصباح. The similitude of His light is like a niche where a lamp is inside that niche. Now let us stop here for a moment and talk about the light. Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. Now, of course, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about Himself as being the light of the heavens and the earth, that does not mean that we can personify God as light. And when He says مَثَلُ نُورِهِ, the example of His light, we're not talking about His person, because as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught us, لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ, there's nothing like unto Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rather, the example of, we shall come to know what is that light that Allah is talking about later on. But the word مَثَلُ نُورِهِ, the example of His light, and this He, the pronoun, is the possessive pronoun. The light that He possesses, the example of the light that He possesses is like a mishkat. It's like a niche wherein there is a misbah, there is a lamp. Now here Ibn Abbas, rahimahullah, he, regarding this statement, مَثَلُ نُورِهِ, he added something that should be understood. مَثَلُ نُورِهِ فِي قَلْبِ الْمُؤْمِنِ, the example of His light in the hearts of the believers are like a niche, and inside that niche there's a lamp. So here the ayah is clearly talking about the heart. Think of the breast, the niche that is within the human body, and within that there is the heart. And this is the simile that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is presenting to us here. The heart that represents the pure fitrah of every human being, the pure nature of every human being Allah created him or her on. So كَمِشْكَاتٍ فِيهَا مِصْبَاحٌ الْمِصْبَاحُ فِي زُجَاجَةٍ. Now this misbah is, this lamp is inside a glass, في زجاجة. الزجاجة كأنها كوكب دري يوقد من شجرة مباركة. This glass is so clean and so pure that it would emit light uniformly and evenly without any disturbance to the light that it is emitting. If you imagine a lamp, the oil lamp in the olden days, and over time you see the lamp develop soot and turns black. Allah is talking about, and keep that in mind, the pure heart. Allah is talking about this glass that contains this light, in which the ulama are referring to the pure heart that is ready to receive light and emit light at the same time. So this glass is so clean that it is ready when it's lit to emit light evenly and uniformly. كأنها كوكب دري, and this zujaja is like a dazzling star. That's how bright it is because it's so clean. يوقد من شجرة مباركة زيتونة لا شرقية ولا غربية. It is kindled from a tree, a blessed tree. زيتونة, a blessed olive tree. لا شرقية ولا غربية. Now, here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is using the simile of a pure oil. A pure oil, there can be no purer oil than the olive oil. And this olive oil, Allah described it as, it is neither sharqiyya nor gharbiyya. It's neither eastern nor western. In order to get the best out of any tree, if you plant it in the eastern side, it will get the sun in the morning and be deprived of the sun in the afternoon. If you plant the tree in the western side, it will receive the sun in the afternoon but is deprived from the morning sun. So here, imagine this tree is so pure, it is planted on top of a hill. It's neither on the eastern side nor on the western side, and it receives light. The sun reaches it throughout the whole entire day. So you can imagine how pure and how great the results of that tree is. And this is the simile again of the heart, the pure heart with the inner light that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had put in us. In other words, those revelations that come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that are described, as we shall see also, as light, that's the light that is going to give you the basira within to see the true reality of things. We have two types of basar. We have the physical basar, where we see things, we see objects with our eyes. This is called basar. And you have basira. You have the spiritual sight, or rather the spiritual insight within every person. Now the light of revelation is the external light that will kindle the light within that is in the heart, and the Prophet did say so. كُلُّ مَوْلُودٍ يُولَدُ عَلَى الْفِطْرَةِ. Every newborn child is born on this pure fitrah, knowing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we have the knowledge of Allah already within us. And this pure light that we receive from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the true guidance, is the light that will enable us to see the true reality of things. Not the ideas and concepts that we get from the East or from the West. Not anyone except the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. يَكَادُ زَيْتُهَا يُضِيءُ وَلَوْ لَمْ تَمْسَسْهُ نَارٌ. The oil is so pure, it appears, it seems like it is lighting without even fire touches the lamp, or rather the agent. You need an agent, and I'll talk about that in a second, because oil by itself will not burn. You need the what do you call it? The wick. You need the wick, the piece of cotton cloth, you dip it in the oil, and then you light the wick, and then it will give you the light. But even without lighting it, because of the pure nature of man, because of this pure oil, you can see it illuminating everywhere. يُضِيءُ وَلَوْ لَمْ تَمْسَسْهُ نَارٌ نُورٌ عَلَى نُورٍ. Light upon light. Light upon light. Now which light is that? The external light. Remember we talked about the sun, the external light that gives light, and the sun nourishes the tree from all directions all day long. In the same way, we're talking about this nur on top of another nur. The external light, the light without, that comes in contact with the inner light, the pure heart that we have, that in which we were created on in the very beginning. So now you have two lights, light upon light, light within and light without. And when both come into contact, then the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is already within in all human beings, becomes actualized. Then you realize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you understand the essence of Allah, not necessarily the jasad and jism, because this example does not talk about His own person, rather it talks about His essence. So, nurun ala nur yahdi Allahu li nurihi man yasha. Indeed, Allah guides to His light. Again, His light meaning the guidance, the Qur'an, man yasha, whomever He wills. And this light, whom Allah is going to guide people to, are of two types. Either individuals, Allah, He Himself knows of their pure nature and fitrah and guide them, like He guided Umar radiallahu anhu. Umar radiallahu anhu indeed was committing shirk before Islam and was doing things and according to, the Jahili traditions and so on and so forth. But he had a pure heart that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he went out to kill Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, guided him to Islam. So this light revelation, after reading Surah Taha, it was that external light, the light of revelation, that sparked immediately the iman of his heart, and then he saw the light with his basira, and then he accepted Islam. So one meaning, yahdi li nurihi man yasha, Allah guides to His light whom Allah wills, whom Allah wants to guide. But at the same time, there's another meaning, yahdi li nurihi man yasha, whomever from human beings who wants to be guided to this light, to the light of Allah, the Qur'an. The Qur'an, another name for the Qur'an is an-nur. فَآمِنُوا بِاللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ وَالنُّورِ الَّذِي أَنزَلْنَا. Believe in Allah and His Messenger and in the light we had sent down. And this light is the light of revelation. So any human being with his pure fitrah, uncorrupted nature, whoever is looking for guidance, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give him guidance. So that's what it means. يَهْدِ اللَّهُ لِنُورِهِ مَنْ يَشَاءُ وَيَضْرِبُ اللَّهُ الْأَمْثَالَ لِلنَّاسِ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala presents these examples to the people. Now, why He presents these examples to the people? Because it is through examples we understand complex concepts. Nobody can comprehend the essence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How do we know Allah? We can't comprehend the Qur'an. So He gives us an example regarding the Qur'an. لو أنزلنا هذا القرآن على جبل. Had we sent the Qur'an upon a mountain, and you would have seen it crumble into pieces from the fear of Allah. An example to make us appreciate the greatness of the Qur'an. In the same way, to help us understand the essence of Allah and the greatness of Allah, He presents similes or examples like this one example here. وَاللَّهُ بِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ عَلِيمٌ. And indeed, Allah knows everything. He knows everything. His guidance is the ultimate guidance. He created us. He knows what's best for us. If we can only remove the tarnish that had been placed on our hearts and polish it, so when we get the Qur'an, we can absorb the light of the Qur'an from the light that is within. And I'll leave you with this hadith where the Prophet ﷺ said regarding the heart, and the heart is the seat of the spirit. This is where the spirit is. This is the organ that houses the spiritual aspect of man. So the Prophet said ﷺ, إِنَّ هَذِهِ الْقُلُوبَ لَتَصْدَأُ. These hearts get tarnished, they get rusted, just like iron is rusted when it touches water. Then a companion of the Prophet asked him, وَمَا جَلَاؤُهَا? How are we going to polish our hearts? The Prophet responded by saying, تِلَاوَةُ الْقُرْآنِ وَذِكْرُ الْمَوْتِ. Reciting the Qur'an, because this is the nur. You want the inner light to come in contact with the external light, the spiritual light, the light of the Qur'an. So he says, by reciting more and more Qur'an, and obviously reciting Qur'an, not just for thawab, to change you as a person, to change your attitude and behavior and outlook on everything. And dhikrul maut, and by remembering death, remembering that this is not the real life. وَإِنَّ الدَّارَ الْآخِرَةَ لَهِيَ الْحَيَوَانِ لَوْ كَانُوا يَعْلَمُونَ. The real abode is the abode of the hereafter, if they but knew. بارك الله لي ولكم في القرآن العظيم ونفعني وإياكم بالآيات والذكر الحكيم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. وصلى الله على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.